Hi, this is Matthew. Going to do another Rolling Stones review. We're going to 1969 for Let It Bleed. And I briefly mentioned the Get Your Ya-Ya's Out 1970 live album at the end. Yeah, we have reached the 1969 where Brian Jones has unfortunately died. He's becoming very erratic. Was only there for a couple of songs. Did a few things on them. Fired the week after he's fired. He's dead. Like a month after he's dead. So, based on accidental death, supposedly. I don't know much more about it than that. So our founding member has died. Our leader is dead. Now the Stones are off doing their own thing. They get Nicky Taylor to come in on guitar, and of course Jimmy Miller is still there as producer, and everybody else, some others that will come into play. Great album, more blues stuff, really cool stuff on here. Some big hits, of course, on here. Our last studio album on London / Decca / Abco. The last album will be in a little bit here, but this is the last actual studio album. The last album is not quite yet. This was out on record and 8-track and reel-to-reel and cassette, just so everybody knows. I don't know about the earlier ones. They probably came out. They would have been out, but I guess maybe this was the first time that it came out on all those different formats. New. I mean, obviously you get reissues of older albums and stuff, but that's one of the first, at least one that Wikipedia mentions that it's available. I think there was a mono version, but stereo is the only thing I find on streaming, at least from Apple Music. And we have the following tracks here. Of course, everything is Jagger and Richards pretty much. We have them with "Give Me Shelter," which of course has vocals from Darlene Love on the other vocals and the choruses. "Love in Vain," which is a Robert Johnson song. "Country Honk," which is great. "Live With Me." "Let It Bleed." All great, a lot of great blues tracks and instruments here. All kinds of stuff going on, harmonicas and fun things going on. Side 2, we have "Midnight Ramble," which is a great one. That live album has a really good version of that track. First collection I ever owned of the Stones, and it's on that. So I'll give it a mention in a little bit. There's a much longer version on the live album. You got "The Silver," which is Keith Richards' first real solo vocal. So that's notable for that. Pretty cool. "Monkey Man," that's a nice blues tune. Mick Jagger doing his thing. And "You Can't Always Get What You Want," the great song there with that choir, the British London Bach choir on it. Our people, we have... I guess there were some incorrect track listings originally, which have now been fixed on different releases of it. So, and spellings were fixed and all kinds of stuff. We have Mick Jagger vocals and harmonica. Keith Richards electric guitar and acoustic guitar and slide guitar. And backing vocals and bass guitar and lead vocals, of course, on You've Got the Silver. Brian Jones was congas and auto harp, and that's all he managed to do on this. I think he was on some of Honky Tonk Woman, I think, too. That was on the Through the Past Darkly collection. Bill Wyman bass guitar and an auto harp and a vibraphone. Charlie Watts was the drums. Mick Taylor slide guitar, electric guitar, so he's a full member of the band now. You really hear him playing. He's only on 2 tracks here, but he is in full playing ability on the live album that follows this in '70, which I will get to because I wanted to get them onto their own label and their own stuff. So I wanted to get these done a little bit quicker. Ian Stewart's back on piano. He comes back doing his piano thing. Nicky Hopkins piano. And organ, sorry. So Mickey Hopkins is back. Not to be confused with our new guitarist of Mick Taylor. Yeah, Mick Taylor and Nicky Hopkins, so don't get those confused, people. Byron Berline was on fiddle. Grayson Gathers, yeah, there's good fiddling. Country Honk, I think, is where that's at. Ry Cooder is the mandolin. Yes, the Ry Cooder is playing on here. Really a good job, too. I wondered who that was. Now I know. Bobby Keys, tenor sax. He was big to their sound going forward for a while. Jimmy Miller is the guiro and maracas. Because on Charlie Watts couldn't quite get the tempo on that right, so he took over on maracas. So let Charlie do his drum thing instead. He couldn't quite get the tempo, so he filled in as well as producing the thing. Leon Russell, piano and horn arrangements. The Leon Russell who I got to see at a blues festival here in town years ago. 2008. He's gone now. There's a good album with him and Elton John. I would recommend if you like to hear some Leon Russell, among other things. But he's on here too. Jack Nitch choral arrangements. Cooper's the piano and French horn, all on the last track. So he's doing all that stuff. Mary Clayton leading backing vocals. Workman backing vocals. Doris Troy from Alan Bell also. Rocky Dighton. Lindenbach Choir vocals. Oh, so I guess it wasn't Darlene Love. I guess it must have been. I'm not sure. I guess it's. I thought it was her, but I guess it is actually Mary Clayton. So they were, and then Nanette Workman and Doris Troy. Okay. Our technical people, Jimmy Miller was production, Glenn John's engineer, he did many of their albums actually. He doesn't get credited all the time. Alan Arthur Duffy and George Science or something. Yeah, they recorded at Olympic Studios and a few other spots. Bruce Botnick and Jerry Hansen. Bruce Botnick and Jerry Hansen, sorry. Yeah, Sunset Sound, I think in L.A. Jay Bridges, the Keep Howards, and Steve Stratton tape operators. I get those big show tape machines are running to efficiency. Robert Brownson, liner design. Victor Kahn, poster design. Don McAllister, photography. And yeah, that is that great album that I highly recommend. Kind of keeps going from Baker's Banquet. And then in 70, the very last London / later on Abco Alan Klein stuff follows with Get Your Yeah-Yeahs Out, which is the Rolling Stones live in concert from 1970. Originally was 10 tracks, but they've got a nice longer one with some bonus from non-Stones stuff, which I'll get to in a moment. And more of the Stones set from that era. Yes, various dates in the U.S. tour in '69, so very current with Mick Taylor on our guitars. The original album had the following songs on it. We start with Jumpin' Jack Flash. It's from Madison Square Garden. And then Carol from the same show, from Madison Square Gardens. Had a couple shows here, I think. Chuck Berry cover. And then Stray Cat Blues from Madison Square Garden again. And then Love in Vain from the Civic Center in Baltimore, Maryland, which of course is a Robert Johnson song. Midnight Rambler from Madison Square Gardens, the second show. That's the really great song. It is 9 minutes instead of 7 minutes. That was on a greatest hits collection from later on. We'll get to that later. But it's nice to hear that in nice, clear quality. I had never heard that past my cassette version. Which, I don't know, something's up with the drums on it. It doesn't quite... But I got it from a garage sale. It was an older tape, so... It was played long before I got it. I've put it several times since, and it still works. It hasn't broken on me yet, so thank goodness. Side 2 then continues. Sympathy for the Devil from Madison Square Garden's first show. And then Live With Me from the second show from Madison Square Gardens. Little Queenie, Chuck Berry again from Madison Square Garden's first program. Then Honky Tonk Women from, I guess from 2 shows? Apparently somehow pulled it from 2 shows from Madison Square Gardens. I don't know how they did that. I don't understand that. And then Street Fighting Man from the Madison Square Garden's first show. And that is where the original ends. Our deluxe box is our original release, which I will go right past. Disc 2 is the unreleased tracks. Prodigal Son, You Gotta Move. They don't give any venues here, sorry folks. No venues mentioned. Yeah, You Gotta Move. Under My Thumb, I Am Free. I Can Get No Satisfaction. And then in 09, the 40th anniversary, we got our opening set disc. Oh yes, our opening set disc. Yeah, we have the following. Every Day I Have the Blues with B.B. King and a great horn section. How Blue Can You Get also with B.B.? That's Wrong Little Mama. Why I Sing the Blues. Please Accept My Love. And somewhere on here, there's a lady going, play it, baby. There's a funny one on, I forget what track it is, but there's a drunk lady saying, paint it black, paint it black, paint it black, you devil. And she says, paint it black again. She's very drunk, very loud in the audience. I forget what track it is right now, but that's funny in a way. It's kind of sad, but funny at the same time. I can't imagine what she thought when she heard of the album. Oh no, I'm on here. Oh great. And then we have Ike Tina Turner, and they're set with Give Me Some Loving, which is just like the intro to it, and then it goes into Sweet Soul Music, Son of a Preacher Man, the Dusty Springfield song, Proud Mary, their great CCR hit. This is the fast portion. The slow portion is not here because you want to get people moving around and dancing and grooving around and all that. I've Been Loving You Too Long, the Otis Redding song. Come Together, the Beatles cover. And then Land of a Thousand Dances, the Wilson Pickett one. Yeah. It indicates which ones they were for Wikipedia. There was a bonus DVD in this set. Introduction from Madison Square Garden. Prodigal Son. You Gotta Move. A photo shoot of the album cover. Keith in the studio. So there was, just some bonus material. So I'm not sure. I guess it's an interview with Keith Richards. Under My Thumb and 3 with backstage with Jimi Hendrix. Oh man, yeah, go check that out, guys. If you can find this, let me know how that is. Does Jimmy talk? Does he play? Is it just him walking around? What's he doing? I Can't Get No Satisfaction. Outside Waiting for Transport. Oh yeah, there's some car ambient stuff on, traffic noises on What'll Let It Bleed tracks also, and credits. Oh, our bonus track recording dates. Here we go. We have Prodigal Son was from Madison Square Garden's second show. You Gotta Move was the Madison Square Garden second show. Under My Thumb was also from, I think the first show maybe. I'm Free was the 69, I'm assuming first show, doesn't indicate numbers. I Can't Get No Satisfaction was the first show from Madison Square Garden. And the other things were from Madison Square Gardens on Prodigal Son. You Gotta Move, again, Madison Square Gardens. Under My Thumb, also the first show from Madison Square Gardens. I'm free. The first show again from Madison Square Garden again. I can't get a satisfaction. The just says Madison Square Garden. Just limited to MSG. Personnel on this concert were Mac Jagger on vocals and harmonica. On the Midnight Rambler, of course, which is great. Keith Richards guitar and backing vocals. Mick Taylor guitar. You get to hear him doing everything guitar. Bill Wyman bass guitar. Charlie Watts on drums. And additional people. Ian Stewart piano on Carol and Little Queenie and Honky Tonk Woman. So he was there for the show. And that is it. So just Ian Stewart still tagged along, but not a full member, but kind of a filling where needed, play stuff for us. Must have gotten along okay with them. But he's not a full member, I guess, but still running around doing various pianos and organs and stuff. Yeah. So that's that. All those releases to get us to where the Rolling Stones make Rolling Stones records. No more Decca. At least I don't know about London Records. Obviously, ABKCO is out of the game too. Alan Klein's company, who manages all the early albums now. So any complaints about albums should go to ABKCO and not anybody else, I guess. Stones obviously had say on those albums years ago, but as far as who puts them out, it's ABKCO. Still, I've got Animals and Hermits collections from them that are pretty good. They're one disc sets. But yeah, that's that, and I will go on vacation in real time. I will be back after on Black Friday to do Sticky Fingers, which is next from 71, where it's and even the Apple Music thing, it's some kind of a Sony, I think, like a Universal Music or whatever label. But it was Rolling Stones Records. Starts it up. I think it's all been taken by another label now. We will get to all that later. There are several versions of Sticky Fingers. I'll have to go and pull through the original, see what demos and bonus stuff there is on Thanksgiving night, and see what we have and hear the album. But I'll look at the other two. I'll use the original probably and look at the others to see if there are any other, if there's like live stuff or demos or like other things that maybe didn't get used. It might be worth a listen. But that'll do it for now, though. I will see you guys in another video.